Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the HearSports podcast show.
Welcome.
I'm Kyle Newman, your host.
And I'm Rhett Hensley, your co-host.
On this show, anything sports goes, whether professional, college, or even high school. Debate is highly likely. Laughter is always encouraged. Good times is a given. And hashtag great sports talk will be a reoccurring theme. Today we will talk about the PGA Championship, the NFL preseason, and the NBA schedule for the upcoming 2015-2016 season. Rhett Hensley, good evening to you. 12th HearSports podcast show. We are 3 months into this, baby. I remember when we were first planning it. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing great. Looking forward to some great sports talk.
Me too. You're awake, too.
I am.
This is impressive. It's going to be a fully loaded show, so we might as well get right into it here with this first segment. We're at the PGA Championship 2015. It was something special. At Whistling Straits in Kohler, Wisconsin. Boy, did it play its sights and bits of links golf here like it was a St. Andrews course. This was something else, Rhett. And what a tournament we had to enjoy. A lot of headlines going into it. Could Jordan Spieth complete 3 out of 4 as he was oh so close to doing 3 in a row? Could Rory McIlroy, making his debut after his ankle injury, could he contend? Could Tiger Woods turn things around, or is he going to continue to struggle? Could Dustin Johnson break through, or would he continue to choke going into the weekend? And Jason Day, the man who had 6 top 5 finishes, could he finally get through and win his first major? Rhett, headline, Jason Day did win the 2015 PGA Championship in dramatic fashion, in impressive fashion, historical fashion, winning his first major at 20 under. And you know what? Well-deserved for this man. I'm going to start it off by saying that. He had become so close. I think this is who we had both picked second as we predicted this tournament. We both thought Spieth would do it, and it was close, and we'll talk about it. But nonetheless, let's talk about the champion here, Rhett, in Jason Day. The man was on fire. What'd you see?
Oh, the man was on fire. Tell you what, it was incredible watching this guy at the end of this tournament. He could not do anything wrong. I mean, you could even see him look at his caddy on the 16th or 17th hole and gave him a fist bump, and you could just see it. I'm the man. And even the announcers, they even saw that. He had that courage going into there. He had that pride. He took it. He was in the zone. It was great to see. But it was unfortunate for Spieth.
It was.
But Jason Day, it was great to see him pull that off. And what can I say? The man cried. He teared up.
He did. So, it's an emotional man, and understandably so, after being so close so many times, and he finally broke through. I couldn't imagine the emotion that was going through him. But, you know, you mentioned Spieth. He finished second, again, second straight tournament where he tried to complete 4 in a row and was that close. Finished at 17 under, 3 back. Ultimately, you finish 17 under, that's phenomenal. In most tournaments, you win at that score under par, but not in this one because Jason Day ran away with it. He would not give one back. Even at the end there where he was playing it risky and he left one short, he still made par. And that was his chance. And Spieth bogeyed, and that was the difference coming down the stretch there, the final 3 holes.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Brett.
All right. And I was just want to point out, he is the 11th Australian and first since Adam Scott at the Masters in 2013 to win one golf tour major titles. One of the golf tour's major titles. So that right there is pretty impressive in itself. So, and you know, he was just one stroke away from making history with being the lowest golfer to shoot in a major championship. So
incredible.
even more
The man
impressive.
is the protege here. He is the next Tiger Woods to come, just like another man we're going to mention here, Rory McIlroy, your boy that you thought would end up in the top 5 and pull something miraculous off. I didn't think he would have done that. He was going to do as well as he did. Jordan Spieth has now surpassed Rory McIlroy as the number 1 golfer in the world, deservingly so. But McIlroy played above expectations after that ruptured ankle ligament. He closed on the final day with a 68 to finish 17th at 9 under. What did you think of Rory McIlroy's performance in this tournament, Rhett?
Rory, man, it was impressive. You know, kind of like you thought it wasn't expected for him. You know, in hindsight, I think that the score that he shot should have probably been the number 1 spot, but it was just these few people that just took off with this and did not stop. So, you know, for coming back off this ankle injury, that is very impressive. And I would take that any day.
I'll say. And, you know, he exceeded my expectations. I didn't think, I'm trying to think back to it, if I had him making the cut. I think I did have him making the cut, but not by much. And he proved me wrong, and, you know, impressive and good for him. It's good to see. But, Rhett, it just goes to show you how important it is during the week on Thursday and Friday to get under par in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
Because these new guys, the talent in this field, they've proven they're going to run away with it. We keep predicting like a 6 under, 7 under win, and these guys are at that after the first day. So, yeah. I mean, you really have to play that well. And for a lot of guys, you know, players who can't get over the hump, a Sergio Garcia, we didn't hear much about him in this tournament. Ricky Fowler, who is a consistent golfer, playing around even all the time, was under par after this tournament. We'll go through some of the players' final scores, but it's not enough, Rhett. Phil, who made a comeback and had a good round, I think finished tied for 20th in this tournament. Not enough, because these guys are not playing well enough on Thursday and Friday, Rhett, and that is so important in these majors nowadays.
Exactly. You know, it is very important. You know, as you said, Phil Mickelson, he was there. He just couldn't really pull it off. He was, you know, in contention for a while. He was coming back. He brought it back, but he was still pretty far away. He finished, was it right around 7 under?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm going to pull up all of the scores.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, Phil finished at 8 under. Tied for
18th,
actually.
That's close.
So a top 20 finish for Phil. Back-to-back tournaments. Did it in the Open Championship, finished in the top 20, and now in the PGA. So his game is there. It's just you've got to elevate it to another level with these young guys, is what it is.
Yes, exactly. You know, and then another one that really just, you know, took a step back once again, Dustin Johnson.
The man cannot finish a tournament.
Yeah, the guy just, you know, his nuts shrivel up, to be honest. And
interesting way of putting it. He chokes. In other words, the man was the leader at 6 under after day 1, Rhett. And I'm trying to see exactly where he ended up finishing.
He finished 7th, 12 under.
12 under, yeah. Okay, so which is a solid finish again.
It's a solid finish, but you know he was in contention the whole time. He was in the lead for a while. And what have we seen this every time?
Yeah, it's been the same movie over and over again with Dustin Johnson, which is why I will not pick him going into a tournament until I see that he can prove to win one. And yeah, you know, I don't know what it is about him, but his long game has started, which is what he's known most for, started to hurt him. And once that happened, he was essentially out of it.
Yeah. And, you know, that's the same thing for, like, Ricky Fowler.
Yes.
You know,
the man finished at 4 under.
I would I would not put that guy winning it, a major,
till he can
for a
it.
while. He can't prove it.
And he's young enough, and that's the thing. That's the thing with these guys. A guy like Ricky Fowler, it's almost like a Zach Johnson who had won the Open Championship. We'll get to him in a second, but a Ricky Fowler, he finished at 4 under, tied for 30th. He went 1 under on the day. I mean, that's a good, solid, consistent round of golf, but it's not going to win you a major when you have guys that are running away with it. You got to.
I have a theory. Maybe if he dresses, more professional.
That's an interesting theory, Brett.
He could, have a professional score. Dun-dun-dun.
Boy, Rhett made it funny. Well, it's one of those things where I love Ricky Fowler. He's in my top 10 or top 5 of favorite golfers. I'd like to see him break through. Like he played a lot better and made a lot more surges last year in the majors.
Speaking of surges,
he's just inconsistent.
You want to compare these to anybody? Compare him to Sergio Garcia.
That poor man.
Yeah, we finished with 2 under, tied for 54th.
Exactly. Again, and this was a guy who I did not hear one thing about. I didn't see one bit of coverage on him, and that's the problem because the groups are the leaders. They're running. I mean, we keep saying it, but they're running away with it, and so it's making these other guys, irrelevant as far as when they're 15 back from the lead. That's the crazy thing. Tournaments, you used to win tournaments at 5 under, 6 under, so you're in it there. Not anymore. It's just not happening. And I want to mention another guy here that, play well. This was one of the better majors this year that Bubba Watson played in. He finished at 7 under, tied for 21st. Solid. How about a Brandt Snedeker, 10 under? We haven't heard his name in a while. It's been a couple of years. He finished tied for 12th at 10 under. So there were a lot of guys that were up there on that leaderboard. Matt Kuchar at 12 under. He's a consistent golfer. But again, Justin Rose, he finished 4th, 14 under. He's been playing very well in all these majors this year. It's just not enough. It's just not enough, Rhett. But you had a leaderboard where you had big names on there. And that was
exactly.
That was kind of key to see.
And one thing that definitely needs to be touched on, because it's the big talk of every single tournament is this man, and if it's going to happen or if it's not, is there a comeback or is he going to fail?
I'm hoping so.
And that is the man Tiger Woods.
That's right. Arguably the greatest golfer ever played in my mind. He's not playing like it anymore. The man is not able to break through for a comeback. It's just, Rhett, I keep saying it, just when you think, all right, Tiger, prove something here, he cannot go after the first day under par. He is always over par after the first day, and with these young guys and the way they run away with it, you're going to be out of the tournament after the first day. And that's what happened again. He went 3 over after day 1, and he did not make a cut once again, and he met your prediction and not mine once again.
Exactly.
What are you seeing wrong in Tiger Woods right now? Because it's frustrating. As him being my favorite golfer, I don't like to see him not making cuts and not being up on the leaderboard.
He's all over the place. He's like you golfing right now.
Wow, he's taking a shot.
He can't keep it in the fairway. He can't keep it in the fairway.
And that will kill you.
Yeah, exactly, Kyle. And you found that out when we went golfing.
Yeah, we did.
But it's that's killing his game. And the headline Stephen A. Smith said, Tiger Woods just continues to embarrass himself. And that's exactly what he's doing. You were number 1 for the longest time. You were on that video game for years and years and years, and now you're missing cuts. And now you're playing like a scrub.
Yeah. It's he's not been good. And it's beyond him making fairways. greens in regulation he's struggling with. He's struggling with his short game. I
6 foot men.
He
Like you, Kyle.
That's right. Tough part of the putting game, and he is struggling with it. And he bogey. He misses birdie putts that he should make. Then he's got par putts, and he misses those. He's 3-putting more than ever. He's really struggling right now with his game, and, it's a good thing that was the final major, so he can try and reevaluate his game, Rhett. But you keep saying it, and I hear a lot of people say it. You think it's bad for him that he keeps trying to change his swing and change his golf coaches. I mean, his swing coaches. That, over the years, has proven bad for Tiger Woods. You think so?
Exactly. I think it is. I would like to also say that, Tiger Woods, he's not wanting to he's trying to avoid a layoff.
Yeah, he's playing in one more tournament this year.
He's playing in one more tournament, and this is the first time he's ever put in an entry for this tournament. So
yes, the Wyndham, I don't know what else, the Wyndham Championship, whatever.
Wow, I was actually going to butcher that name. I was going to say Wyndham.
What is it? Wyndham what? What's the...
Wyndham Championship.
Yeah, the Wyndham Championship. He's going to play. I like that about Tiger Woods. I like that he's going to do that. Try and go out and finish with something. You know it won't be the last bit of golf he plays this year, but it's the last tournament on the schedule for him. And, it's good for him to try and play again. Try and prove, can I make a cut? Can I do something?
Yeah.
It's been a big issue.
As you said, that he just keeps missing putts and putts. So
exactly. You can't do that. You've got to birdie against these young guys. If you're not birdieing, parring is not going to be good enough. It's too conservative.
Yeah, and I would like to compare this to Jordan Spieth right now. Jordan Spieth has not had a 3-putt in 61 holes.
Incredible.
Yes, that is incredible. And you go to Tiger Woods and, he can't even make a birdie putt half the time.
I know, and it's not the Tiger Woods we're used to seeing, but it just goes to show as he's getting older here, about 40, and he is the field's younger and ultimately better than him right now. He's got to really reevaluate his game. I want to mention another guy here who also did not have a good tournament, and I did not expect this. I predicted him to be up there in the top 5. Mr. Open champion himself, consistency, Zach Johnson, like Tiger Woods, was cut after day 2. Went 75-72. That is not Zach Johnson-like. But, Rhett, this was a course where you saw the elements, that big wind, rain delay Friday night, made for an early morning Saturday. This course can do that right on the coast of Lake Michigan there. It'll bring those St. Andrews-like winds, like Lynx Golfs, and there are a ton. I think they said there were 150 sand traps on this course, or something ridiculous. I mean, you look at some of those holes, Rhett, there's 10 sand traps around the green. I mean, this is one challenging course, and so it's understandable how players could struggle. Then it just puts it into perspective how amazing it is that a man like Jason Day can finish this tournament at 20 under and win, and Jordan Spieth in second at 17 under. It's incredible.
Exactly. Spieth had a fantastic bunker shot on the 16th hole on Sunday. That really was a huge turning point for him. He almost chipped it in. It was fantastic. Would have been the best chip in I've seen out of the sand. But from looking around at that course, it's just filled with sand traps.
It is. What a beautiful course. Type of green, links-style course that we'd love to play someday.
Oh, yeah. And we will, Kyle. We will. We'll be retired. Hopefully.
That would, no kidding. That sure would be nice. It would. I've got a couple stats here on Jason Day's performance at this tournament. Pretty incredible history here. First major championship title, 21st start in a major, as we mentioned. It's only his 5th career PGA Tour win. Hard to believe. It's his 3rd consecutive major top 10. 6th international PGA championship in the past 8 years. fifth Australian to win the PGA, and he's the first ever to finish at 20 under in a major, Rhett, ever. We're talking the greats of all time, a Tiger Woods, the Ben Hogans, the Jack Nicklauses of the sport have never finished a major at 20 under. That's how incredible that was. I mean, he literally was on that kind of fire. It's almost amazing to me to think of a 20 under finish at a course like this.
Insane.
As hard as it is. It really is. And you know what? He could have easily been in Jordan Spieth's situation this year. He could easily have just gotten his third major of this year. I mean, he's been playing that well. Rhett, a guy who you'd have to think is going to be right up there going into the start of next year, will be ready for the start of the majors. A guy who you'll have to think that this won't be his only major.
Exactly. We'll be looking forward to it, as you know, the major, what major am I thinking of? The first one.
That's actually what I was. Yeah.
I'm spacing it.
I was trying to think Australian Open. No. The Masters is.
Masters.
Yeah. The Masters. The Masters is the first one.
The Masters. Next year, they already have Jordan Spieth ranked number 1 to win the Masters next year.
That's right.
Already.
How could you space the Masters?
Yeah, I couldn't think of it. It totally went straight past my head.
For a second, I was thinking 5, like the Australian, like the tennis has. But no, yeah, April is the first one with the Masters. Yeah, it's going to be great to see how it plays out with that. For sure. I wanted to bring up another guy. This is another one of your favorite golfers who really, really struggled in this one. And when I say really, I mean he played downright awful.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Scott,
the
British man, also like Tiger Woods and Zach Johnson, got cut. He went 76 on day 1, 75 on day 2. Terrible after coming so close in the British Open, played well in the U.S. Open. What do you think happened to Adam Scott?
Well, I'm not really sure because they didn't show him very much.
Yeah,
so,
understandably so. Understandably so.
Yeah, I mean, his putting is one of his best things. He's got that, the belly putter. It really just keeps him in tune. If I'm guessing, that wasn't working out for him that day. Or he was struggling in the sand traps. That'd be very understandable.
He was in the sand a lot.
For me not being able to see him play, that is kind of the kicker.
Yeah.
So
it's he definitely had his struggles for sure. A guy I want to talk about, a guy who I thought was going to finish in the top 5, really played well, and I'm impressed because after Phil Mickelson went 72 on day 1, 73 on day 2, just when you think, oh, here's old Phil, inconsistency, the man made his surges. He then went 66 on day 3, 69 on day 4, Rhett, to finish at 8 under. I'm impressed with how Phil played. It wasn't enough, and it just goes to show you how we keep saying you got to play under par and make a push during the week. But I was impressed with how Phil fought back. He had his moments, but he wasn't consistent enough. But a top 18 finish is solid for this man. Didn't quite make my prediction, but wasn't too far off. What do you think about Phil in this tournament?
Phil. Well, it surprised me. It actually surprised me. Let me rephrase that. Surprised me at the beginning. I thought he was going to play halfway decent at the beginning, and he didn't play great. And for a bit, I thought he was not going to make the cut. And then talking about a surge this guy put on, which was just flat out impressive. He's very inconsistent. So who knows how he's going to do going into the tournament. But I mean, finishing 8 under where he started at, that's pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is very impressive. And, With Jason Day winning this, he's now third in the world rankings behind Spieth and McIlroy. Very impressive. And Rory McIlroy was showing the respect. He said 2 inevitable things happened today. This was on Sunday. Jason Day winning a major and Jordan Spieth getting to number 1 in the world. Congrats, guys. Inspiring stuff. Classy right there from Rory McIlroy. I like to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
But
class, not trash.
Exactly. Rhett, I want to ask you, as we preview ahead to next year a little bit, and we will have some exciting things that I'll mention here in a second. But next year, if you had to pick going into the 2016 Masters, who you think is the favorite, who do you think it is, and why? It's a juicy one.
Who do I want to win, or who do I think?
Who do you think has to be the favorite going into the Masters next year?
Oh, I think you have to go with Jordan Spieth.
Wow.
I think you have to. The man is just cooking. So, he's came second. He was so close to just winning every major this year. And, I think that he's got got this major going into the first one. So I think he's got it again. I think he's going to take it.
You're taking Jordan Spieth as the favorite. Hey, it's understandable.
Well, technically, he is the favorite right now, so.
Yeah.
But I would love to see my man Rory pull it off.
Wow.
Which I think he has great potential. I would put him right behind Spieth.
Well, here's the thing. I think that I agree with you. I think Spieth is the favorite going into it, but Jason Day is a very close second.
You can't really put him up there, though. This guy he's been suffering vertigo issues a lot.
I know. No, you have to put him up there. He's played so consistently, and he'll be coming off the last major win. I think that he has to be up there. Very close number 2. Jordan Spieth clearly is the hot man right now, but I think, and I do believe is the favorite. Let me tell you who I want to see win it.
Oh, good
Tiger
God.
Woods.
Good
I would
God,
love to
not
see Tiger
again.
Woods start off 2016 campaign with a major win. Come back, Tiger. Now, that's what I'd love to see. Do I think it'll happen? No. I hope it will.
I'd hope not.
But I want to see Tiger Woods or Phil. Phil, you show up, baby. Ricky Fowler, please break through. Bubba, button up. Show up at the Masters once again. Do it again. You've got to. Let's see it happen with some of my top 5 favorite golfers, Tiger Woods especially. Oh, do I want to see it so badly, but I just don't think it will happen. I do think Jordan Spieth, Jason Day, these men going into it are going to be the hot
So
men.
your top 3, Kyle.
My top 3, it's Jordan Spieth. Are you talking about who I think will win, the best chances to win the Masters? That would be Jordan Spieth, Jason Day, and I'll have to do it based on the way he's been playing.
Are you going to be disrespectful?
Dustin Johnson.
No!
I'm gonna go Dustin Johnson because I think that he
bumped Dustin Johnson after,
I know.
This guy collapses every time. That is flat out pathetic, Kyle.
I think that he will do some soul-searching this offseason about how close he's come, will work on everything aspect of his game, and will come out on fire. The Masters at Augusta is one place that bodes well for Dustin Johnson. His type of course. I think that he will have a great chance. I'd put him third at the best chance, but no doubt.
Where the heck do you put Ricky?
Who's your top 3? Ricky? 4, maybe. Or 5. No, right up there. Who do you put? What's your top 3 then? I don't even have to ask, but who's your top 3?
Spieth, Rory, and Jason Day. Are you kidding me?
He's putting Rory ahead of that just goes to show what you're doing is predicting with your heart and not with your brain.
I'm not predicting with my heart.
You're predicting with your heart.
I am not. For somebody putting Dustin Johnson up there, that is just flat out pathetic, Kyle.
That's not the heart. He's not in my top 5. I'm just going off of what I've seen.
Oh, goodness gracious, Kyle. Oh,
he'll find a way to finish on the weekend to be in contention.
That's like putting
again.
Shooter McGavin over freaking Happy Gilmore.
That's right.
Are you kidding me?
You better believe it. You better believe it.
Gosh.
It is worth mentioning, though, the Ryder Cup is not until next year. So every 2 years. It happened last year. So this is it. The FedEx Cups standings are winding down here. In a couple months, you'll know who the champion is. Right now, Jordan Spieth in a far first place right now, Rhett. So that's actually not surprising. But to round it up, the FedEx Cup standings as they are, we got Jordan Spieth at number 1, Jason Day now with this win at number 2. Very close behind him, Bubba Watson, 3rd in the FedEx Cup standings. Then
you put him 4th.
Then Jimmy Walker, then Justin Rose. How about that, Rhett? Bubba in 3rd. You know why? Because he wins. He's played in 15 events, and he's won once. When you play in that many events, you rack up those points. And he finished well here at 7 under in the top 30 at the PGA, and that's good enough to get you points. So very interesting though to see. But oh my gosh, Jordan Spieth is almost twice ahead of Jason Day in first place. He has 41.69 points. Jason Day has 24.59. It's pretty clear Jordan Spieth's going to be the FedEx Cup champion this year, Rhett.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's pretty clear Jordan Spieth's going to be the FedEx Cup champion this year, almost 2,000 points ahead of Jason Day in second.
Yeah, exactly. That is quite understandable.
That's thanks to his 2 major wins and 2 other tournament wins to have 4 wins on the year, and he's played in 21 events, the most out of them in the top 5.
Impressive.
That is very impressive. And that was an impressive segment, Rhett. The PGA Championship. We always love talking golf because we love golf, and we're going to have one heck of a round the next time we play each other. I'm coming for you.
No,
it's going to be good. Can't let him get on a streak. He's at 1, folks. I was at 1. Now he's at 1. Now I got to get back at 1, and then I got to make it 2, 3, 4, and 5. So
never going to happen.
Going into the off season, I'd love to see it happen. I would. Well, Rhett, let's transition here into this next segment here and talk about something that, you know what, doesn't bring all that much excitement around, but it is football again. And there are some key things to take out of these games. And what games we're talking about, that's the NFL preseason, 2015. Rhett, it kicked off with the Vikings last week, but the rest of the games were on Thursday the 13th. All right, so let's go through some of these games here. I'm going to start with one that stands out to me, your Cowboys loss. So don't give me crap about my Colts losing. 17-7, the Chargers beat them. The thing is with these games, it's all about the younger guys and who exactly steps up, Rhett. Who the depth, who has a better second and third string team is what it boils down to.
The GMC
we know
XL.
this. But your Cowboys game, what did you think about that? Your Cowboys started off with a loss in the preseason, 17-7. What'd you take away from it?
Oh, I can't stand preseason, but, we got the crap kicked out of us, obviously. It's expected. We usually don't do good in preseason. Kind of like you can relate to that, Kyle.
That's right.
But, Escobar, I noticed from him, he's not a young gun. But on 5 carries, he had 47 yards, averaging 9.4 yards a carry. But other than that, there's not too many people that stood out to me. our young gun that he actually just got injured in
Yep.
the preseason game.
There you go.
Him.
Is that another
Yeah.
reason you love the preseason right there?
Yeah, it's flat out stupid.
Allows
So
players
he's
to
actually
get
getting
injured.
evaluated by a second physician. So we will see what happens with that. But obviously, the top names on the Dallas Cowboys team really did not play. Des Bryant's actually has an injury right now, hamstring. He's missed practice. But other than that, yeah, I didn't really see anything from that game. I don't take anything from the preseason. I don't like it. And there's too many preseason games.
Here's what I saw.
As I vented.
The biggest thing that stood out to me, Cowboys backup Brandon Whedon went 4 of 5 for 42 yards. And then Dustin Vaughn was 12 of 18 for 106 yards. And Jameel Showers, 5 of 11 for 40. Phillip Rivers, on one drive, he went 2 for 2 for 20 yards. And then their backup, Kellen Clemens, was 5 of 10 for 31 yards. Here's something that stood out in this game. Your boy, the brilliant move that your Cowboys did, getting rid of DeMarco Murray, didn't prove all that well to work out for undrafted rookie Gus Johnson, who got injured in this game, Rhett. He injured his left. He left with a shoulder injury in the third quarter. The Cowboys don't know how long he's going to be out. They should know by their next preseason game. But it was early in the second that he had a 5-yard run, and it ended up hurting him, Rhett. Unfortunate for your Cowboys, but another example of an issue with the preseason games is you have that risk of opportunity before the games that really matter even start. You can end up losing a key player. Just like that. And your Cowboys are already thin as it is at the running back position. That could be a real problem if this turns into a more serious injury.
Exactly. Ray Rice might be in the future.
Yeah, I don't think so. But it'll be very interesting to see. But that is something I took away from that. That's a big injury in that first game. But yeah, you had other games like the Redskins beat the.
I would like to throw this out for the Dallas Cowboys. It has been rumored the past day that the Dallas Cowboys have been interested in signing Ray Rice.
Well, I think it's going to be very necessary. Now
Exactly.
With an injury and everything.
Yes, exactly.
So, here's some more games that stood out a little bit here. The Cleveland Browns, they lost a close one, 20-17, to the Redskins, where you got to see a little bit of Robert Griffin, Johnny Manziel, headlines going into the NFL season. Johnny Manziel scrambled for a touchdown for the Browns, who I think he's going to end up being a bust and is not going to pan out.
And who was that?
Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football.
Johnny Football. Love me some Johnny Football.
And I don't see him going well. Robert Griffin III went 4 of 8 passing for 36 yards, 2 possessions only. Not bad. Pierre Garçon dropped a long pass that would have been an amazing touchdown, like old hookup there with Robert Griffin III, who I think are going to finish ahead of your Cowboys.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. They'll finish behind your Cowboys in last place, but I am picking the Giants to finish ahead of your Cowboys in second. Yeah. Right behind the Eagles, of course, who, worth mentioning, they kicked the living piss out of my Indianapolis Colts, to say the least. That is something that did happen later in the preseason games. Now, it's worth mentioning if the Colts ever win
36-10, holy
36-10.
crap.
If
Talking
the Colts,
about kicking the piss out of them.
If the Colts ever win a preseason game, it's a miracle, because they usually don't. But you know what? They end up winning plenty during the regular season and end up going on deep into the playoffs. So I'm okay with it. But the thing that stands out to me with it is we do have it. What it does show to me, this is why there is importance in the games. For the starters, maybe not so much unless they get injured. But the importance is it shows how well do your backups and third stringers fare against other teams' backups and third stringers. So it does prove who has better backups and third stringers.
I mean, bringing a third stringer against the starting lineup of another team, that absolutely does nothing.
Well, after the starters are out, it is all second stringers and third stringers. So you're pinning up your second stringers against your second stringers.
Yeah, but bring it into a regular season game, and your big boy gets injured. You bring in the third string, second string, or third string.
Exactly, and now you know what they look like.
You're not seeing how they're actually going to fare against the actual starters.
No, season. You got to see what they looked like at least. They got action.
You got to see what they look like against middle schoolers.
They proved what they had, and let's face it, they're going up against some. They go up against the starters at first. Some second stringers will be playing immediately, but even the backups on some teams are veterans. Matt Hasselbeck on the Colts. I mean, we're talking about veterans, Hall of Fame players that are still playing at the backup positions. So I would definitely not go as far as being disrespectful to say they're playing against middle schoolers, but they aren't playing against their top of the line starting competition.
I don't think you just can't really see. You can't tell. I think it's just flat out stupid. Too many games for.
There are too many games. I'd like to see 2, but they're important. It gives these guys a shot. They get game experience. If you were in their position, you'd love the preseason. You get to play. You get to make money. You get to try and prove to your coaches, the staff.
If I was in their position, I wouldn't care. I'd be sitting on the sideline making money.
The organization in itself, you get to prove something to. It's important. It does matter, but the wins do not matter. That's what doesn't. But it does show who has better second and third string teams when you get the win. Some people will like it. Some people will say, yeah, I did get to see this, and this. I watched the games. Here's what I liked on our starters' first couple possessions. They looked rusty. They need some improvement here. Because if you're looking rusty on a couple possessions into the preseason, then you're going to be in for a rude awakening come regular season. So, nonetheless, Rhett, let's be real. It's good practice. It is.
Yeah, for one game.
It is very good for these players to get out there. And that's why, as more and more preseason games go on, they'll play longer. They'll play a whole quarter, then the whole half by the time the fourth game comes around, because they're getting close to the start of the regular season. It's just like at the very end of the regular season. Do you rest your starters or not? Because it doesn't matter if you get the wins, like the Colts playing the Cowboys. It didn't matter for us. But, we were resting we rest our starters, and that's where that debate comes into play. Do you risk the injuries? You could say that same thing. Oh, well, the win doesn't matter now, so maybe we shouldn't play our starters. What's it matter? But nonetheless, you had some preseason games here that there were some headlines going into them. Again, the Colts, our young guys made mistakes in this game. That's okay. You know what I do love to see? Mr. Tim Tebow. I love to see Tim Tebow have what can maybe be a possible comeback story here with the Eagles to prove himself again. The great Christian man that he is making a comeback. It seems, early in the preseason, sure, but he looked like the old Tim Tebow, leading them into the end zone, rushing, the fans in Philadelphia chanting, Tebow, Tebow, and those are some tough and rough fans in Philadelphia. But I love to see it. I would love to see this guy, probably one of my favorite players ever. I would love to see Tim Tebow make something of himself again and prove that he can and deserves to be in the NFL and can play in some schemes for the Eagles, where I think it's perfect for him, by the way. With Chip Kelly, he can run the type of style offense that Tim Tebow was used to in college at Florida. the Heisman Trophy winner that he was, and can prove that. Can prove that he was the man who led the Denver Broncos deep into the playoffs in a miracle run season a few years ago. So he has the talent there, but that stood out to me. He played well. They talked about it on First Take. He was on point with his throws. That's always been his question mark. Tough as nails, lost some weight, built like a brick crap house. This man is in some good shape. I like to see it, Rhett. So that's something else that stood out to me. What else stood out to you here in these first week of preseason games?
Yeah, I don't think too much more stood out. I'm not. I don't really pay too much attention more than just injuries, racking up the injuries and seeing who, especially the first couple games, because the starters don't even play. But seeing that, keeping up with the boys and stuff like that, noticing injuries like that, that's just another reason why I don't like preseason.
Yeah,
but,
some starters will play the first possession or two.
Yeah, and we did not see that from any of the boys, but it's going to be interesting. I don't have any more opinions about the preseason.
Well, there you have it, folks. Co-host not thrilled with the preseason, so right on cue.
I'm thrilled. I hate it.
Right on cue with this segment. I know a lot of other people hate it too. I'd be curious to do a little fan interaction here with this and get a little tweet going about something like this with the preseason. Who likes it? Who wants to see it gone? I have a feeling most people would want to see it gone, so it would be interesting to see where people would vote, where they stand on the plank here with this. What side? Do they want it? Do they not? But regardless, nonetheless, a true football fan that understands the game understands that there is importance from preseason games that can be taken out of it. But regardless, other than that, wins and losses do not matter. So let's move on to this final segment here, and let's talk about the NBA schedule 2015-2016.
First off,
been released.
I'd like to just touch on this really quick.
All right.
For the NBA season, summer forecast has been projected, and I would just like to say that the Indiana Pacers got the most disrespectful summer forecast projected for next season.
Doesn't surprise me.
And just earning one more game win than they did last year. And they are projected to win 39-43. That's the projected record next year, ranking them 9th in the standings for next year.
Well, whoever came up with this ranking is not on point with everyone
else. And put the Heat 4th. Okay. So,
well, that doesn't mean much to me because
exactly.
Most analysts, first of all, that's not what's.
I think this guy was on crack.
That will not happen. Second of all, no other analysts will agree with that. I've not read one thing about that. I've had them much higher than that, with more respectful.
It just got posted on ESPN.
Yeah, that columnist, contributor, whoever wrote that, not real intelligent when it comes to breaking down a team's off-season moves and what they have in an Eastern Conference that is very weak but getting better. To put them 9th when they finished 9th, almost got into the playoffs with the team they had last year, completely disrespectful. So very surprised about that, but will prove him wrong for sure.
Exactly. Putting the Hawks 3rd, that's even more pathetic. But, yeah, just thought I'd touch on that.
Yeah, that's interesting for sure to see. Now that doesn't seem as disrespectful to me with the Hawks being 3rd. The Hawks, that's a pretty respectful drop down after being.
I think that was I think last year was, kind of I want to see it happen again this year because I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
I could see them finishing 3rd. I think that's a pretty respectable analysis with them.
happening.
being a dominant team, second best record in the NBA this last year, first in the East. They have essentially the same returning team. I think that they will be up there. You know, if I had to put a prediction on it, I'd put them third or fourth.
I would not.
I don't think that's disrespectful, Rhett. So we can agree to disagree on that. But, you know, there are a lot of headlines going into this schedule, a lot of games that are intriguing, who's going to turn their seasons around, who won't. I'm going to mention some games that were mentioned on SB Nation of like the 10 best games. I don't know if I agree with all of them. They're good games. I don't know if they're the best games, but they are nonetheless pretty key games. Number 10, they put November 11th, San Antonio at Portland. Basically because two dominant teams in the West, who are you going to have with the Trailblazers, the Marcus Aldridge? You know, it's going to be a good matchup. But, you know, naturally a lot of West matchups are going to make this top 10 because, let's face it, they're a much better conference. But it'll be intriguing to see. So Spurs at Blazers, number 10, November 11th. Number 9, Rockets at Clippers on November 7th. This will be very intriguing. This is one stacked Los Angeles Clippers team, but a team that seems to not be able to get over the hump come playoff time. Number 8, Heat at Cavaliers, October 30th. This will be another great matchup to see. Every time, obviously, Dwayne Wade goes up against LeBron James, his former teammate, you got to love that matchup. Number 7, Clippers at Warriors. This will be a juicy one, November 4th. Not much to say about it. These two teams, I'm going to give my prediction right now, Rhett, because this matchup made me think of it. The Warriors will be the number 1 team in the NBA this next year again. Yes, I'm going there. They will finish just ahead of the Cavs with the best record in the NBA, and they will be number 1 in the West. The Clippers will jump all the way to number 2 in the West and finish there. That is my prediction. So I would put this game much higher than number 7 that they have this on this list. This is the first time they match up. This is a big game that you could potentially see come playoff time, late in the playoffs. But, yeah, Clippers-Warriors for sure, Rhett. There's my prediction. Number 6 on their list, Spurs at Warriors, January 25th. Timmy Duncan can't give it up. Coming back again. This is going to be one consistent, dominant Spurs team. I'll put them third in the West. This is going to be very intriguing to see how this plays out. They seem to manage every single year to pull it together, these old farts. Number 5, Thunder at Wizards. This is very, very, very interesting here. The Thunder, you have Kevin Durant coming back. How will he look? Will he be healthy? Russell Westbrook. And then the Wizards, a team that's improved each of the last 2 years. Will they continue that trend? John Wall, will he continue to put up MVP-like numbers? This is November 10th. This will be a very fun game to watch. Number 4, Pelicans at Warriors. They're putting the Pelicans up there. And you know why? He says Anthony Davis is on the doorstep of surpassing LeBron and becoming the NBA's best player. Talk about a bold prediction. But you know what? That's not far off in my mind. Anthony Davis has proven the superstar that he is in this league, the young man that he is nonetheless, and led a Pelicans team to the playoffs in a hard-fought series against the Warriors. Very impressive. The New Orleans Pelicans and Anthony Davis. He can do everything for them, and he's improved his three-point shooting now. He's added that to his game. Wow, that will be a great matchup to watch. Cleveland Cavaliers at the Golden State Warriors on Christmas Day. That is one gem of a matchup. I would definitely put that higher than number 3 for the top 10 NBA games. Number 2, Spurs at Thunder, October 28th. Again, another solid West matchup, but I would not put that ahead of the Cavs-Warriors on Christmas Day. And then number 1, they have Clippers at Mavericks, November 11th, and I think they're putting this there to see what's going to happen with the whole DeAndre Jordan reneging on his decision to go to Dallas, going there for the first time. Interesting fan reaction that you'll see there, but I wouldn't put that number 1, but that's definitely one of the best games. What about you, Rhett? What do you see here with the
I think
schedules?
my number 1 game is the Cavs and Warriors. It's going to be an exciting game. What can I say? But, also, I think the Clippers and the Mavs game is going to be very interesting to see. Seeing the crowd give a reaction to somebody that they just flat out hate now. You can't do that to a team and expect them to step away, the fans especially, to, accept that. The Dallas Mavericks are going to be going in with some hatred, and there's already some bad blood between DeAndre Jordan and a couple of the players from the Dallas Mavericks. So, that's going to be one that stands out to me.
It will stand
and I'm
out.
definitely going to be tuning in on that one.
Me too. I do want to say this before I get to a little fun Q&A with you. 5 and 5, Rhett. Something that some analysts did on ESPN. They went through and they had some fun with that. And we're going to do the same. But first, I do want to bring this up. This I saw just a couple days ago. This made me laugh and was very humorous, to say the least. It just really made me laugh in general. D'Angelo Russell said that Tracy McGrady was the greatest player of all time. A man who's going to L.A. to play with arguably one of the greatest players of all time in Kobe Bryant. Well, Kobe Bryant responded to D'Angelo Russell saying that. Basically, he said it was simple. He put an emoji, the little sleeping emoji, with the Z's. and then he did it again, and then Russell quickly responded that and backpedaled, saying, at Kobe Bryant, LOL, my bad. He was nice, though. And Kobe Bryant said, all love, little bro. Let's shock the world this season. I think that is great. First of all, I don't know what D'Angelo Russell's thinking. Yes, Tracy McGrady is a great player, a Hall of Fame player, but not even in the top 10 of the greatest players all time. So
there's quite possibly could have been if he wouldn't have had all the injuries.
Yeah, but there's just no way, not even close. I don't see where he gets that from. Kind of crazy, but I did want to mention that because that is funny. He's playing with arguably the greatest player, one of the greatest players of all time. I'd put him in the top 5, Kobe Bryant.
Exactly.
So that was funny. But let's play this little Q&A before we wrap up the show, Rhett. Question number 1.
Yes.
Which team will be the most fun to watch this year?
Oh,
why?
Goodness gracious.
And why?
The Warriors, I mean, you're bringing back the Splash Brothers. It's just fun to watch those two. Seeing Steph Curry just pop off a 3 in somebody's face, they just flow so good, and they have an up-tempo game. And, seeing a player run down the court and instead of going for a layup, pull up for 3, it's just hilarious. It's great.
Just like Reggie would do.
Yeah, exactly. And, I find that very interesting to see. If we wanted to compare them to the Spurs, I'll tell you what. It's like watching your grandpa sit there and eat applesauce. It's just not fun to watch, in my opinion. It's great to see different types of ball movement and, the beauty of the actual game going on. But I'll tell you what, it's not exciting like the Golden State Warriors.
They do make it very exciting. I will agree with that, but I've got to have some bias on this, Rhett. I can't be disrespectful like you. And I've got to put the Indiana Pacers. They will be the most fun team to watch this year. You know why? Because they have a man in Paul George who's coming to prove something once again. And they have off-season pickups in Monte Ellis, who will really add a fun scoring aspect, a George Hill, a Rodney Stuckey, a C.J. Miles, a Miles Turner, a Joseph Young, guys on this team that are going to gel well together, a new, fresh start. I think they're going to be the most fun to watch. You know why? Because they're my favorite team, and I love them. And it's going to be fun to watch these guys. I think it'll be fun to watch them. I'm going to go even more in depth with this. It's going to be fun to watch them because they're going to prove all the haters wrong, and they're going to start off well. They're going to continue that trend. They're going to make some noise in the NBA. They're going to make some highlights. Paul George is going to hit some game winners. He's going to do some incredible dunks in game. And we're going to see Monte Ellis. I can see it now. Him and Paul George coming up with some dude widget, like handshake, amazing thing after they pop some threes and they're on fire. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be great. Widget. Boomer's going to be running around with his gun. Man, the Pacemates are going to be cheering on this most fun team to watch. That's my prediction, Rhett. That's what I think.
I think they will be great. You know, they will be my most watched team. That's for sure.
You betcha. It better be. Number 2, which team will be the hardest to watch in 2015, 2016? In other words, they're going to be awful.
Oh, can I put 2?
No. Which team? Singular.
Yeah, that's actually kind of hard then. Oh, goodness gracious.
You got to pick one.
I would have to put the 76ers.
Like every year.
They got absolutely nothing going for them. You know, it's, kind of like the past couple of years. You know, you go to like a prom or something, and you go for punch.
Yeah.
And you see this big old turd floating in the punch bowl. That's basically what they have every time, is just somebody pooped in their punch.
Oh, geez, what an interesting analogy. I tell you what. You know what, though? I will agree with you on this, and it's because they managed to be like that every single year at the bottom of the totem pole. But here's why. They have a good young pieces in place, but injuries plague this team, and they don't have enough. They're still a little too young, and their biggest pickup from last year, their biggest hopes, is out for the season. Again, already, Rhett, their big man from Kansas.
Exactly.
And so I think that this team is going to struggle. Now, I will say this. Jahlil Okafor will make an immediate impact with Nerlens Noel, who's made a lot of progress. So these guys will lead this team. Maybe try and shock something. He'll be a Rookie of the Year candidate. Jahlil Okafor, I would pick him finishing second behind D'Angelo Russell for Rookie of the Year. And he has a great team to prove it on, a team that sucks. But I'll tell you what, aside from those two, they just don't have anything else. They really just don't. They've got to get other veterans and pieces in place there, Rhett. They really do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to agree with you on that. The 76ers, hardest team to watch. Third question, which player will be the most interesting to watch this year?
What player?
Which player?
I'm going to show some bias, Kyle.
Thank you.
Just because, I
think people would say this, though,
I could see your face also, and I'm kind of thinking it. I kind of think there's a couple of players that's really just standing out to me, but Paul George stands out also. So, I'm going to show some bias in there, go with Paul George. He's going to be a player he's already said that he's wanting to come back and make that MVP spot. So, coming in and really putting in hard work, throwing down some crazy dunks. This man's going to really light up the show. But, I'm not going to go without naming the other two, and that's going to be Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Kevin Durant's got something to prove. He said he's 100%, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I would agree.
You gotta let me finish, Kyle. Gotta let me finish. I haven't said my third one. Steph Curry. So, he's MVP. He's the reigning champ. It's going to be great to see something from him, and I expect great things for his future. And that's going to be great to watch him this coming season.
Well, that is respectable for sure.
Exactly.
It has to be, and I'm going to agree with it. Not in that order with the third player, but I'm going to agree with number 1 and 2. And there's bias, but I truly think that he is the most interesting player coming into this next year because he has a lot to prove, and people are wondering, is Paul George going to be able to come back after that injury? Is he going to look like MVP type of form like he was the year before the injury? And I think he will be. I think it'll be great to see. I hope he's MVP-like, and he can take the league by storm. He has an incredible opportunity here to really make something happen, to make some history for the Indiana Pacers.
Exactly.
I really want to see it. He is the most interesting player, though, coming into this next year for me. No doubt. Kevin Durant would be number 2 for sure, coming off that injury. But the question is who's the most interesting, not interestings, plural. And I'm going.
What can I say?
Paul George.
I have to go with. I like to name everything I have on my mind right then and there.
Understandable.
Exactly.
The next question, last 2, number 4. Which matchup are you most excited about this year?
Oh boy, I know what you're going to go with, and I know what I'm going to go with, Kyle. And that's, Pacers versus Cavs. That's what I'm most excited about. I know what you're going to pick, and I don't like it. But Pacers and Cavs, I want to see that LeBron rivalry, and I think we're going to see that. And I want to show all the haters and, everybody that says, the Cavs are going to be great next year and the Pacers are going to be awful. I want to show them the Pacers are going to come out and really just kick some ass. And really put these Cavs to shame. And I think the Indiana Pacers can do that.
Well, I disagree with you. Though that will be a great matchup, it's not the one I'm most excited about. No, the one that I'm the most excited about
Good God.
is the one that every Pacers fan has been the most excited about for the last 4 years, every single year, and that is our number 1 rival, the hated Miami Heat from South Beach. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, we do love South Beach.
That is who I am so excited about to see us play against. That's the Miami Heat. I am every single year. I hate this team. Every Pacers fan does. It's a great rivalry. I don't care if LeBron's not on that team still. They still have 2 out of 3, and that ain't bad. And let me tell you something. This is still a rivalry to Pacers and Heat fans. And every time we play each other, it makes national headlines. And that is why they're already getting the respect to get the games nationally televised. All 4 of them, I should mention, are going to be nationally televised, and that just goes to show what people think of what this rivalry has become over the past several years. And so that is the most exciting matchup to me.
From what this Miami Heat team is shaping up to be, they're going to be pretty decent this year. So, I think this rivalry is going to be great. It's just I'm ready to spark another one.
Understandable.
And I think it's going to happen. And I'm ready for that LeBron and Paul George action.
Here's the thing. You just can't stand Kevin Love either because he's had some bad blood with the Pacers players in the past. So
what can I say? I wanted Kevin Love on the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen, man. I have faith.
It's not going to happen. And you're one of those people, right? Or you're freaking bandwagon with players. You're all over the place. You hate Kevin Love, then you love the guy. Get it straight.
No, I'm actually not a fan of Kevin Love. I wouldn't mind him on the Pacers because he's a fantastic player. But, you got to respect somebody, even though I have great respect for LeBron James. I hate the guy, though. So, it's just a thing where you have to respect him, but you don't like him.
Well,
people don't like Kobe, but you better respect him.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We have a different way of thinking about that, Kyle.
We do. We do have a different way of thinking. The last, 5th and final question, what's the biggest takeaway from the 2015-2016 schedule, Rhett?
Let's see. What's the best thing that's been taken out of the 2015-2016 schedule?
What's the biggest takeaway from the 2015-2016 schedule? Interpretation is up to you.
What's the biggest takeaway? I think minimizing the 4 games in 5 nights. That's starting to become...
That's different.
What?
That's different.
What's different?
That is different to have change like that, and I
thought you were talking about my choice of picking. I thought you said take that any way possible.
Yeah, it's certainly a different direction for sure, but different in both ways.
Yeah, I think it's a good decision. That's helps the players out so they don't whine. But the Indiana Pacers are one of the teams that don't have 4 games in 5 nights, and Adam Silver has been working hard on taking that out of the actual schedule altogether.
That's for sure. That's for sure. My biggest takeaway, there's a lot. It's close. The biggest takeaway for me is the Pacers have a tougher schedule than last year, and they have a chance to really prove something to this league once again with a healthy Paul George and the big offseason moves they made. They can make a run, and that's what I take away from this schedule. And it's going to be hard, but they have a legit chance to make something happen, and they can prove it against the best competition, and that's what they need. And that's what I hope to see happen. Aside from that, the Christmas Day games are phenomenal once again. I really love that slate. But biggest takeaway, Indiana Pacers, as always. Disrespectful, Rhett won't mention the Indiana Pacers. But that's what I have to go with. So, just like that, Rhett, we played a little 5-5.
If you really want to say that I didn't mention the Indiana Pacers, I actually did mention them, saying that they didn't have 4 games in 5 nights. But
out of guilt.
Thank you. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's been a good one. It's been fully loaded. Just like that, we've gone over an hour and had a nice show once again, Rhett. A lot of sports talk because there's a lot going on. The seasons are close.
Exactly. Seasons are close. The season is coming, and 'tis the season. 'Tis the season.
On that note, Rhett's ready for Christmas already. To recap what we talked about, the PGA Championship, the NFL preseason, and the NBA schedule for the upcoming year. That is all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning into our show. Feel free to leave feedback, as we want to be able to address comments and questions on the show. We love interaction. Tweet and retweet the show at Kyle M. Newman, at Rhett Hensley, and at Indiana Pacers Talk. We will be back at it next Monday by 8 Eastern Times is the hope, but the schedules are changing. As classes are about to start up, things are getting busy, so we'll just do the best we can. Bear with us. I'm Kyle Newman.
I'm Rhett Hensley.
Have a great night, and go sports.
Go sports. Yeah, man.